Today we are going to talk about products and quotients of rational expressions. This is section 5-5 in your textbook. The essential question for this section would be, how do you multiply and divide rational expressions? To find the product of two or more rational expressions, you simply use the multiplication rule for fractions. So if you have a over b times c over d, the result is simply AC over BD. You multiply straight across the numerators, you multiply straight across the denominators. And you don't have to worry about common denominators or anything like that. You just multiply straight across, left to right. Now, your product, however, should always be expressed in simplest form. So let's look at some examples. So let's say we've got 3x squared minus 6x over x squared minus 6x plus 9. And that rational expression is going to be multiplied times x squared minus x minus 6 over x squared minus 4. Now, you could approach this a couple of different ways. You could simply multiply it straight. You could multiply it straight across, as is, or you could attempt to factor as many of these as you can and make cancellations as necessary. So let's take the latter approach, because I prefer to do it that way. So let's see what we can factor here and then proceed with the multiplication. So if I factor everything, I end up with 3x times x minus 2 over x minus 3 times x minus 3 on the left. And on the right, I have x minus 3 times x plus 2 over x plus 2 times x minus 2. Now, if we look at this closely, we can see that there are several terms that we can factor, okay? So let's see what we got here. So I've got x minus 2 on the top on the left, and I've got x minus 2 on the bottom on the right, so I can cancel those out. Then I've got x minus 3 on the left on the bottom and x minus 3 on the top on the right. I can cancel those out. Then I have x plus 2 over x plus 2 on the right. I can cancel those out. So the result that I'm left with is simply 3x over x minus 3. Now, if I were doing division, I would do it pretty much the same way. Now, if you remember, whenever you're dividing fractions, you simply change it to a multiplication problem by flipping the second fraction and multiplying. So if you're dividing, you take the second fraction, get the reciprocal or flip it, and turn it into a multiplication problem. And then you would do exactly the same thing as we did in our example of factoring and seeing what cancels and simplifying our final result.